check. Yes, indeed. We are here with the infamous Mick Bryan of Four Skulls. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. You looking
right.
good, man. Looks the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I sleep in this shit. So,
you do, yeah.
It's like sewed on to me.
No, I think it is the same outfit you had on last time.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I don't change.
You can't go wrong with black. You know,
Well,
you work for Johnny Cash.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah.
Man in Black, man. He made a living from that. So, how you been, man? How you enjoying Florida?
Oh, I love it, man. We come down once a year. This first year we've been Gulfside. So we flew down Saturday. We're down around Madeira. Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Madeira? Yeah, Madeira.
Madeira Beach,
Yeah.
one of my favorite beaches.
Yeah, so we got
It's crystal clear.
Yeah, it's nice. We got a condo right on the beach. You know, it's awesome. It's my oldest son. His last hurrah. He's getting married in October. So
No doubt, really.
yeah. So
Wow, congratulations.
yeah. So I got me and the wife and the two. I say kids, but they're older.
They're past being kids, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of a last hurrah for him. So we got down Saturday and. My shtick is I get up before everybody else. I'm up at like 8. Everybody else sleeps till like noon, so I got like 4 hours to myself. I get up and fix breakfast, and, you know, go out and sit out and look at the ocean and all that. And then maybe 11, I'll go ahead and start drinking, you know, before everybody gets up.
So yeah, you can have that nice blow on before they get up.
Right. I want to take the edge off before they get up.
Exactly.
You know,
Well, get that
it'll
nice
be chaos.
Florida mood.
and then Monday I got up and I thought, well, I'm going to tune into I need some tunes. I thought, well, I'm going to tune into local music earth.
Right.
And I was listening and I started messaging Justin and he was like, Killogic's down there. And then I was like, that's right, he is. I was like, I need to go see him.
That's like I was telling him at the beginning of the show today. It's like a real happenstance kind of thing. But It's been like one of them things that, we talked about. It's like, I said it a million times, like when we did Local Music Earth, what was it, 3, 4?
3, we were at 3.
3.
Yeah. That was in 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of them things where you were kind of like, holy shit, Four Skulls is up on stage in front of me in Maine.
Yeah.
It's one of them things that you never, think that will happen, and you always like, man, I'd love to meet up with them again because we had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
That was some memories.
That was a great weekend, man.
So,
great weekend.
I remember the one thing that was funny was that stuck in my head was everybody's worried about parking out back at Gino's. Here comes friggin' Four Skulls. Like, the dude was all worried about these little cars parking, and he sees you guys coming. He just was like, oh man. We can't turn that around.
No, it was a little rough getting out of there.
Yeah.
It was down to inches. I had one guy on each side when we were trying to get out. Some ass had it parked,
of course,
with the ass end of his car out, and I thought, well, if we hit him, we fucking hit him.
Right, exactly.
He shouldn't have parked there. Sorry.
Yeah, he shouldn't be that dumb.
We'll be long gone before he finds out.
Yeah, I'll already be a couple states away before you figure it out. Oh shit! So, what have you guys been up to? Like the band? Like
the band, the last year was pretty epic for us. Last summer, we hooked up with a promoter, and he found us. I just got a call in the middle of the day.
Right.
And this promoter called us. He had found us online, listened to our music and stuff, dug it and all that, and he's like, man, I like your old stuff. How would you guys like to open up for the Bullet Boys? And I was like, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
Let me think about it.
Yeah. Bullet Boys, and we did that in Cincinnati.
No shit.
So went to Cincinnati and played, and then we get a call about playing. He's like, what do you think about opening up for Enough's Enough? Yes, we'll do that too.
Yes.
All this was in a 6-week period.
Right.
And then when that show was over, we did well again. And then he says, "I got Firehouse coming to town. You guys want to play?" Yes,
Yeah.
yes again. So we went out and played with Firehouse and you know, all the bands and stuff. Everybody's great. You know, it's good hanging out with those people. And then the Epic show came. He called. He said, "I got Jeff Tate coming to town," and we're like, you know, our tongues are hanging out, and you know, trying not to act too excited.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Tate. Yeah, we could probably.
Yeah,
do that.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. So we went. So and you know, Jeff Tate, you know, he did the complete Operation Mindcrime album.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got to open, and they brought the ungodly PA. I mean, I couldn't hear for like 2 days. And he was so damn good. You know, after we played,
right,
he was so good. And every guitar player, every guy, there was not one amp on stage. Every guy had a laptop.
Really?
That they played through. Now, Queensrÿche back in the day, they were always cutting edge. You know what I mean?
Right.
That
was one of the things about them.
I'm not gonna say they were the first all digital metal band, but commercially successful. You know, I remember when Operation Mindcrime come out, and you looked at the CD and it said DDD, you know, digital recorded, digital mastered, I don't know, whatever that stuff means. But man, they were so crystal clear and so louder than bejesus and just over the top great. But we didn't get to meet him. We were not allowed. We were not allowed around him.
Wow.
Really? Oh yeah, nobody was. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, but all the other bands we opened up, you know, we got to hang out with Mark Torian, with Bullet Boys, and you know, Miller's out back smoking weed with him.
That's awesome.
But all the other guys were cool. But even though Tate totally dissed everyone,
right, by just being a kind of.
And I probably don't blame him because he is larger than life.
Well,
and he sounded superb.
All the people that he must have to deal with on a regular basis, and then go to a show, and then how many bands want to meet? You know, it's like.
Yeah, so I don't blame him. I was cool with it. I'm like, I don't really care. You know, I got to play.
Oh, look at all the other. You know, that is excellent.
Yeah,
that's cool
fun.
though.
Yeah, but we did all that in like a 6 week block there.
Yeah, well, I remember
summer.
you guys were. It was like it seemed like every other event page had you guys playing with a freaking big band. I was like, holy shit!
It was awesome. So that kind of spoiled us, you know. After those shows, you know, and somebody says, "Hey, you want to play the bar? You want to play the bar down the road?" I'm like, "No, not into that."
I'm still trying to shake off being a hotshot right now.
Miller, Aaron Miller, he said, "Well, I guess we can retire now." You know, after we opened up for Jeff Tate, you know, because he's one of his, you know, being a vocalist, you know, Jeff Tate was, you know, one of his idols.
Right.
And I remember him saying that. He said, "Well, I guess I can retire."
Yeah. Well, I guess that bucket list is complete.
But yeah, it was a great time. We had a great stretch of shows there. We have started writing for another album. You know, we've been writing that one for a long time. I've been out of town a lot. You know, promotional work. They keep me. I've been all over the country, so I haven't been home as much.
Yeah, I know. You're a traveler.
I've been traveling here in the last year and a half, so it's kind of slowed things down a little. But we've got some riffs, we've got some tunes, we have a few complete songs, but we're trying to get all the direction together. Everything. You know, the first album was, to me, you know, pretty monumental for a first album for us. So I don't want to put out a piece of shit.
And I think that's why you guys, that you resonate with people so much, is that, you know, there's a few things I wanted to ask about that album, but that it's just such a solid album, and it's one of them. It comes across as, you question, like, is this really an independent band? Or, you know, it doesn't come across like, and I know nowadays, like, with the ability of the software and everything, you know, you can make stuff sound great, but it's not just the sound, it's just the professionalism of it, and the whole, I mean, it's just such a solid album. Now about that, I've actually had, would you consider it a concept album? Definitely
a concept album.
Because I've never really, when I've been asked that before, it's like I've never really wanted to answer it with a definite, where in my mind it always was from talking with all you guys separately, and you know, especially when you're talking to the singer and he's telling you about, you know, how these things connect. But
it's a story from top to bottom.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's the thing, is you can start it from the beginning, and it's all through, you know, it's got going right into the service and all that. It's just, it's you know, and I think it also resonates with a lot of, you know, vets.
Oh,
and
definitely.
people.
Yeah, there's you know,
they hear
most shows they'll come up to us afterwards or whatever, you know, they'll say, man, they really do, you know, your stuff. You know,
well, because I think it grabs a hold of them and it speaks to them in a way of like things that, you know, they don't, you know, because they're veterans and, you know, they're doing their quote unquote job,
Yeah.
you know, which is wow. But, you know, that's how they always brush it off. Oh, I was just doing my job. It's like, yeah, but no.
Yeah,
I know you're telling yourself that to kind of package it all up, but
that's what they were trained to say.
You're doing superhuman stuff, feats and stuff that the average person does not ever. And for you guys to package that whole kind of from the beginning to coming home and all that, and that what that does, you know, it's like you can hear it all through the album.
Yeah, I think we captured the vibe of it. Yeah, you know, you can't really unless you experience it.
Right.
But as good, you know, as well as we could, I think we did pretty good on it.
I do too.
As far as next stuff, you know, I want to do, you know, maybe another concept album, top to bottom, but I at least want a theme for the whole album. You know,
right.
At minimum, I don't want to just throw a bunch of songs together. Case in point, you know, Big Sean up in Maine, Big Sean Davis.
Yeah, excellent guy, man.
Oh yeah, great dude. But his route, it's probably a year and a half ago, came through our town.
Yeah.
And he stopped at a truck stop, and I saw him post on Facebook. I'm like, where the hell you at? and he said, I'm out flying J out Canonsburg. I said, that's 5 miles from me. I said,
I'll be right there.
I'm coming to get your ass. So
awesome.
So Dwayne, bass player, we hopped in the car and went and got Big Sean, brought him back to the studio. Wound up, he didn't drink, but me and Dwayne did, of course. But I started playing him some of our riffs and stuff, and I played one riff of ours that I love. I love the riff. I cue it up, crank it, and he's sitting there jamming to it. He's like, yeah. He said, man, that's really cool. I like that. He said, but in all honesty, that's not Four Skulls. You know what I mean? So
it's not what he's accustomed to hearing from Four Skulls.
And that clicked for me right then that you know, I just can't put out anything I write. I gotta write for that band.
Well, and it's somebody of his caliber too. It isn't like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh yeah.
You know, so and for him to be honest like that, and it does. That's cool that it, you know, makes you think that, well, wait a minute, maybe I can set this aside.
Yeah, for another project or whatever.
Yeah, or you know, or down the road or what. That's, you know, and
or maybe steal from it later.
Right. Well, especially when you're still honing out the sound of the album. Now, was there any like theme you were thinking towards or leaning something that been inspiring you guys?
I've thrown around a lot of stuff. One that keeps popping in my head is doing I don't know if it'll come to fruition or not, is doing an entire album on fear. There's different types of fear.
Yeah.
So I mean,
good fear, bad fear, holy shit fear.
Yeah. that's
fear's the biggest motivator. I mean, the government uses it daily. You know, ads, all that. The fear is one of the biggest tools used in our society, and whether people realize it or not. You know, I mean, even on social media, the whole, you know, rage bait and all that to get you to click on things, because now everything is based on the click and how many clicks can you get, and it's like and you can buy those. Yeah, that's the thing. And I want to talk to you about this too. I was bitching about this yesterday. There's he asked if you're drunk yet.
Drunk yet? No, I had to drive. This is the first day I haven't drunk. No, it's 10:20. I usually don't start till 11.
Yeah, you still got another 40 minutes. But you go to a lot of these groups and you see these people that they're actually charging these little tier packages to get on their Spotify, and they'll open you up to a bunch of their Spotify. Like, I got 50,000, and it's clearly all it's bots. Yeah. These are phones sitting on walls and stupid shit.
Yeah.
It's not real, and I think those people that you know, of course, everybody, when they're in that mentality of, well, I need that followers, I need those numbers to look like, and it's like, but really, that kind of doesn't matter as much, and I think people need to really start thinking about the fact that, I know, Facebook and Twitter and all that have trained you that, your likes and your numbers in that realm are the most important thing to get, traction, and maybe for the algorithm, but with music and the way it travels, that doesn't really always compute that way.
No.
And it's like when I'm telling people to get out of there, like everybody stays on Facebook because they say, well, that's where everybody is. Well, everybody that you know, and that's the problem, they already know your shit. You're not going to grow your audience unless you get out of Facebook, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's why I say, like, going to, like, where we were going to stream this morning, Twitch, Mixer, having a presence on them places and having it set up that when you hit the stream button, that you're automatically streaming to all these places at once, which is, software and everything for that, which is totally free. It's kind of a no-brainer, and it has an audience that, like, Mixer and Twitch both have these audiences that are captive, that they don't want to go nowhere else because they're getting away from Facebook. But the way Twitch is set up, there's like bands like Trivium, there's so many bands over there, Psycho Stick. They not only do they do some gaming, but they do a lot of just streaming live shows, warm-ups, all that. And it brings an audience more, it's like when we were growing up, the closest we ever got to knowing what about a band or seeing in their inside life was like from Rip Magazine or any of that crap.
I was disappointed when MTV came out and I saw what these guys look like.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh man, I didn't realize.
I was like, oh man, those guys are ugly.
Dude, and they're ugly trying to look pretty, like girl pretty. Yeah, but did you know MTV, they had a rule, they would not pay for a video. They didn't pay for videos. So
they knew you wanted to be there.
So you know how I figured that out was the whole Thriller thing. They were trying, because he brought in, I forget the director, to do Thriller. He was a big director. He did a bunch of movies. But anyway, they needed to make money in order to make this video. So they made a making of the video to sell that. And they ended up selling a documentary to MTV. So MTV played and then set them all up, how they get, paid with revenue. It was actually a pretty smart way to make a video. And it's like when you try to explain, oh, we're going to do Michael Jackson Thriller. It's going to have a bunch of zombies and all. And it's like, you see the haze go over these, people's eyes, like, you're going to do what? They're used to watching Van Halen and them idiots, do that. No offense to Van, I'm just saying, that was a pretty, bombastic
It was. That was
time.
When the Thriller video came out, it was monumental.
It was.
They spent, at the time, I think they spent $1 million. Mm-hmm. So it was the number
one.
Which
is insane back then.
Back then. So it was the number one video of that year. So what video was number two? Van Halen's Jump. How much did they spend? They spent $3,000.
Yeah.
They painted Eddie's racquetball court black and filmed the video in there.
Boom, done.
There you go.
And there's a lot like Pearl Jam. One of the things that of course, excellent band. And one of the things that attracted people right off to them is all of their first videos were all live. Mm-hmm. And it was hard for people to wrap their heads around that because they sounded so good. Right. And it was like almost CD, quality. It was like these minor differences where you question, wait a minute, is this live? Are they actually, And it was like, and that really, not only is it a smart, cheap way to do a video where you just, but now you go forward, and now Pearl Jam has used today's technology and the way we do things. They actually bootleg their own shows. I have a Pearl Jam bootleg that I bought from Pearl Jam of a show my wife went to down here.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. So, and because you can do that, you can go to the show, and then they'll tell you within a certain amount of time you'll be able to go on the internet and download or order on a disc the show, and it comes in this cardboard thing. It looks like a bootleg, but it's from Pearl Jam.
I think, this maybe 10 years ago, though, but I can't remember the band, but by the time the show was over, they were selling CDs of the show that you just listened to on the way out.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
somebody's back there got something printing the hell out of them. I don't know.
Nowadays, they can do it. They can do things so fast.
Instant, man. Need stuff instant now.
It's like things, not only now with the live streaming or whatever, but like with how we're recording this. This can be instantly uploaded and viewed, and then shared that way. It's really, changed the whole turnover rate on a lot of things. And even like with albums being written, it's like there used to be such a long turnover rate for things, and now it's
like Four Skulls.
Yeah, well, or like, hey, you could be Tool.
That's true.
You
That's
could
true.
be Tool, man. I mean,
Tool.
holy shit. Who, you gotta take, I did a review on their show. They did their first show down here of their new tour, their new album. I've seen Tool every single time they've toured. I've seen some tours a couple times, actually. I saw them at Lollapalooza when they were nobody. And, I've watched their show be this thing. It's an event that people talk about for years. Like, it's like going to see Pink Floyd. There's things that it's like, this isn't a regular rock show. They did things.
They might have their backs turned.
It's Well, one of the show I saw him at Fort Myers, he had his back to the crowd the whole time. He was up on his own little pedestal, and he had his back to the crowd the whole time. The only time he turned around was when a big clown came out on stage with a big bouquet of roses, handed them to Maynard, and then went down and kissed Maynard's feet, and then walked off stage. Maynard turned around. He looked like he didn't even realize there was a bunch of people there. He kind of looked around like, oh, where all these people come from?
What's up?
He's like, he just said, thank you for your support. And then turned back around, hold on to a bouquet of roses, and they went into Lateralis. Just good times. But my point was, I went and seen him, and I was just very unimpressed with, after all this time, that they were basically just using clips of videos. There was no shots of them on the stage. They weren't doing any of that. There was no camera work being done. And they were doing a very, vanilla set list. And then they put 2 songs in it. And then you watch. Now, I know that for technical reasons, I've been in this game a long time. I know why bigger bands, would keep the same set list going through. It works out for the sound man. It works out for the lights. It works out for a lot of stuff. It takes out the spontaneity, but everything is on point all the time. It's almost brainless. You can cut your staff in half almost, because there's not a whole lot of, it's the same thing going on all the time. And they were never like that. And it just feels to me like they're just doing it to, this is the last album on their contract. So it's like, we're just going to go out and do what we are, specified to do, and what we have to do to collect a paycheck, and then we're out.
Yeah.
And it has that feeling about it. And it's like, I'd rather, if I'm waiting for you guys, I know that not only, is it going to be a kick-ass album worth the wait, but you're going to give me a kick-ass show, too. It's going to, I'm going to come back going, wow, man. I mean, you might not have the $1 million light show that they bring into the whole thing, but you don't need that. I was just talking about Drivetrain. It's like, how come I can call back on the first time I saw Drivetrain at Future Fest with everybody hungover. They're the band of the week, by the way. Everybody hungover and feeling like shit. And this band that I'd only been told about briefly before I went, that, oh yeah, you'll be meeting up with Drivetrain there and all that. These guys came out and just everybody got up and was like, whoa, they were just good, solid rock and roll. And it was like, you didn't feel like you were doing enough watching them. It was like, somebody tap your foot, clap your hands, do something. And that's the same type of thing you get from a Four Skulls, It's like, and I played it twice, 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
Twice in a 48-hour period,
Yeah.
Not too bad.
We come that far, we're going.
Yeah, go play some shows.
I'm not going to go out there and stand. I drive 20 hours.
But yeah, it really, the memories that I've pulled from that, I still, vivid memories, even you know, with all the alcohol and weed, all that. I still have excellent memories of that time.
Yeah, the broken RV. Yeah, Justin, putting the sides in. I know that's what he's going to say. Don't forget to put the sides in. Chaps my ass for that all the time.
I couldn't believe. I remember seeing the pictures of you guys pulling into the apartments. I'm like, Jesus Christ, they just got out of Geno's and now you're going to make them, now they're doing it in the woods. It's like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, I felt the trees and stuff were hitting the top of the RV when I was pulling down that gravel and stuff. And then once we got there, the RV was 38 foot, then we had the trailer. I think by the time we were all said and done, it was like 60 feet is how long the RV was. And it was like as long as the apartment complex Justin was in.
Right. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it was pretty long, but
that wasn't.
We think back. There's still videos on our from back at that time, but we kind of documented our journey there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The trip.
I was sharing them the whole time.
The trip was epic. You know, just getting there. You know, what we had to go through. You know,
the adventure of it.
Yeah, the adventure of it, hanging out with each other, and you know, that was. Those are good memories too. Not only the shows were the climax of it, but the journey itself. You know, going up and forth, forth and with just hanging out with the guys. You know, it's special times. Those are special memories for me. You know, that trip to Maine.
Well, plus it's always a test.
It
to
is.
See how much do I really like you guys?
Yeah. Can I hang with him?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Found out, no shit, I like them.
Yeah, they're okay.
They passed the test.
Yeah, as long as Miller went to the back and fell asleep in the back bedroom, we were fine.
Snorer, was he?
He's just a little high strung.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
If he's awake and I'm driving, he's up there tapping on your shoulder.
Hey,
man, what's up, man? Hey, where going? Is it time to stop and smoke? All the time. I'm like, go lay down.
Go take a nap, man. So, tell me about the lineup. Tell me about everybody.
The lineup is the same except the drummer from when you all saw. So we got a new drummer a couple of years ago. He's a guy that I'd play. His name's Ryan Morrison, and I played with him in a previous cover band, 10 years ago or whatever.
So you guys have a rapport.
Yeah, he's solid drummer. I think our music it's going to change a little bit just because of the addition of him. He's
right. Gravehuffer went through a similar thing.
Yeah. So he's like 10 years younger than us. He's like a Lamb of God type guy.
Right. Well, that's good though. He's putting spunk.
That's going to inject a different energy, and I'm excited about where that's going to take us. I'm like, well, this riff with before might take on a little different feel, maybe a more modern feel, which is what I'm hoping for.
Well, Richie from Gravehuffer, they just went through a thing where it was right after their not their first album, Your Fault. The album Your Fault, the for reasons which you can go check out the interview if you want on Mixcloud. They got a new drummer or whatever, and one of the first things he said was, it's like, all these songs are kind of new again. Everything kind of feels, has this freshness to it.
Has a different energy.
And it's kind of, it's like, it's always the bittersweet things for whatever reason a band member has to leave.
Right.
But when the replacement comes and it's like this revitalization and this new,
works.
that's.
Yeah, you're right. It gives a little a different feel to it, and then you're excited about it again.
Right. All
song.
These like old, quote unquote tired songs that you guys have, now they're brand new again or something. That kind of feel.
Speaking of Richie, I turned Richie onto his. We're both sponsored by Killogic Guitar. So this is I'm going to throw in my little
go for it.
My little advertisement. We'd like to thank Mick Bryan of Four Skulls. Would like to thank Killer B Guitars, Von York Strings, Spectraflex Cables. I got to think of all of them here. Cold Cock Whiskey. That's 4. Flying Bee Leather Guitar Straps. Now there's one. Oh, and Jose Mulatto Planet Tone Pickups out in Colorado. So I got to throw out my peeps there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I got a plug. Oh, did you check out my video, my Planet Tone? I did a Planet Tone video. Check it. Go to Force. Let's see. Might be my page. I don't know. Somewhere. somewhere. Anyway, Planet Tone guy wanted me to do a demo of the pickups, my custom wound pickups.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And
How? I wanted to ask how.
just maybe on videos. I don't see it there.
What else videos?
I've got it. It's in there somewhere.
Sold on Facebook.
Okay, so go to YouTube Four Skulls.
Ha!
And that's how you find it easy. So yeah, I've been promising a video for 2 years, and I finally got around to making one. My buddy bought a big $high camera, and he volunteered. He said, "Hey, can I come over and film you?" I'm like, "Well, heavens yes, come on over." Four Skulls, our page. Yep, that one right there.
Right here?
Yeah, buddy. So I did a. Yep. So I did a more or less 1,000 Souls, last song off the album, and I played an extra track over top of it, and kind of a just a demo of Planet Tone pickups, which I absolutely love.
Now, when you go to do like, how is that whole operation getting like the pickups, wound just for you? Like, how does that whole operation go down?
Well,
it seems very like it would be a tedious process.
I thought it was going to be tedious, but when I got the guitars, then I got hooked up with the pickup company, before the guitars were made. So I had the guy make a couple pickups, and he mailed them to the Killer Bee, the owner of Killer Bee, and they put them in my Killer Bee guitars and sent them to me. Now the pickup guy said try these pickups out, and if you need any modifications to them, let me know. So I got the guitars. I played 2 or 3 shows with them, and they sounded good. But I sent him a message. I said they're good, but just not quite there. Just not quite. I just need just a little bit more.
Right.
I said more like the Van Halen Wolfgang pickups.
Right,
Yeah. Really high output pickups. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly what you need." So he ordered some special wire that he wasn't even using, and and hand wound this pickup, mailed it to me. I put it in, and boom, there it was.
That's awesome. See,
you ever see what they were, Larry? Like 15.3K pickups, high output, smoking hot pickups. Smoking hot.
Like literally.
Oh yeah.
Smoke comes out of them.
They're hot. I love pickups.
Badass.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good guy to work with. All these guys have been great to work with.
Yeah, and that's the thing nowadays too with the internets is being able to link up with companies and sponsorships and really more than just the whatever monetary value that it has. It really kind of helps both get out there to people that they wouldn't see, and I guess that's the point.
That's the whole point. They're smaller companies. How do I get my product out there? Well, I help. Number one, you got to have visibility on the internet.
You got to have an audience.
Number two, you got to play shows.
Yep.
People's got to see the guitars.
Exactly. In action.
Yes.
Proof that it actually works.
Yeah. So that's
proof of concept.
That's pretty much it. And they have to like your music.
Right. Yeah. That usually helps.
Yeah. That's usually the first thing. If they like your music, then they'll say, oh, okay, what are these guys doing? Blah blah blah. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, I was referred by another guy in Charleston. His name's Johnny Compton, to get with the Killer Bee guy, and then he looked us up and was like, oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you're on board if you want.
And really it's cool because again, that's one of the good things, the power of the internet, I guess, is the littler musician, that isn't some millionaire hotshot that it's really nothing to them to throw their name on something where I have more faith in something that somebody because they don't have a big name where they're not worried about throwing away a few thousand followers or whatever and getting some bad publicity on the internet. It's like when it's somebody small, that does matter to them. And that's why you can kind of trust a lot more. And especially when it comes to, I know there's like a lot of these Instagram weirdos that are selling makeup and all that crap like that. That's totally different.
Yeah.
But when it's...
Or Ray-Bans.
Yeah, Jesus.
Or car warranties.
Instaban.
Your car warranties.
Yeah, car warranties running out. Jesus. I don't know how many, how many calls I get. We try to catch them on the radio. How many calls I get to help me with my credit card debt. And to help me
to help you.
Yeah, try to help me with my my college and get that all paid off for me. It's like, wow, you obviously don't know who you're talking to.
You don't know me at all.
We're already off to a bad start. You're lying. But so what do you guys got for like a time frame?
Time frame. Well, you may have seen some of my posts. I'm actually working on another project that is closer to being finished. A band I was back in the '80s, Passion.
Mm-hmm.
We did an album back then, at some little basement.
Right.
And it wasn't not great quality. It wasn't released. You couldn't release shit on your own.
Right. Yeah, it's totally different. You had to actually make CDs and tapes and.
It was cassettes back then.
Yeah.
So cassettes. We had cassettes. We passed them out. Probably passed out 100 or whatever, and people local knew. So we decided since I built that studio at my house, stuff sounded good. I'm like, hey, we got to re-record this album and do we're going to do a worldwide release of this.
Right.
And these are songs we wrote back when we were 19, 20 years old.
Oh shit.
And the drummer came. He lives in Columbus, and it's just a couple 2.5 hour drive or whatever. And he came down and he did his drum tracks in like 2 days, in one weekend. And we're just now getting around to getting it all together. All the rhythm guitar tracks are done. All the bass is done. I'm working on leads, and then we got backing vocals, and I think we got 1 or 2 lead vocals to do. And then we're going to do a worldwide release of that old album, and that's like 2-3 months away, so that's gonna be quick. Yeah, it's almost ready.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a video done. Already got lined up for a video. We want video to drop that day. The day that it releases.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So we're gonna finish that up. It's just like a pet project.
Right. That's cool.
We do a couple reunion shows, with us or whatever.
That's looking cool.
Yeah, just guys. Back. I watched The Dirt. Dirt.
Yeah.
And I was watching. I was sitting there thinking, man, that was our life back then, except for the money. But all the girls and all the mayhem. I mean, back it was so crazy back then.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. It was a great time to grow up.
I was talking about that movie. I ended up kind of getting. It wasn't anything I wanted to watch. I got sucked in. The wife was like, they've been talking about, because she's a hairdresser, so she gets all these clients that are talking about certain movies or whatever, and it's like, when you got a few of them talking about, it's like, man, I kind of feel like I should be watching this movie to, so I can be like, oh yeah, or at least brush it off easier. But we ended up watching it, and I was entertained by the way they did it. I thought, and there was a couple, the dude that played Tommy Lee there, he got him right down to a T.
Yeah.
I mean, he had his walk and everything, his goofyisms.
It was fun. It was fun to watch.
It's a fun movie.
I mean, it's not the Titanic,
It's not nothing you're gonna watch over again.
No.
It's not something that.
It was fun.
But they make fun of themselves.
Yeah.
They're not and that's one thing that I respected out of it. It's like they totally kind of put a lot of crap out there that a lot of bands would shy away from. And I had to respect, and even talking about them getting a little too big and their egos getting a little too high, and and so I was like, I kind of had to respect that in a little bit. Now, there was a lot of things that I was like, yeah, okay, but I thought the David Lee Roth thing was funny as hell.
Yeah.
Shit crashes on him, and he's just like, goes back to snorting coke.
I do not doubt that probably happened.
No. And then
then the Aussie part.
Aussie part
was really fun. I read about that a long time ago.
Exactly, yeah. And so seeing it actually on a movie and in action, and then nobody's really refuting it.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, okay, I guess that shit did happen.
I brought my buddy Larry Min's house with me here.
Larry!
He lives. He's been down here like 20 years or so or whatever.
Getting close.
Getting close. But anyway, he's from my hometown. But he hung out with us back during those times. So he can vouch for the.
That's
There
awesome.
was some craziness.
To put it lightly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
It was a little
vouch.
crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were playing up around Columbus, Ohio. There's a lot of big clubs and stuff up there.
Oh, shit.
And some stuff back around home. Iron, Ohio is the cesspool of our area. That's called the fun zone.
Right.
That's where you go to have fun. But yeah, the 80s was a good time, and the dark just took me back. Just watching that. Like I said, everything but the money part. If we'd had money, we'd all been dead.
Right. Well, see, it's a good thing we didn't have money because that would have gotten dangerous. And and that's just it. I mean, you watch how many stars back then did die, and it's it's amazing more did because
true.
of the lifestyle. It was just so. It was. I mean, these record companies, it was like a prerequisite to be buying drugs for your bands. It's like you had to keep them going.
Yep.
So here, feed them more coke. Heroin, whatever you need, just get out there.
Keep them awake.
Yeah, make money. That's it. That's all we care about, But
Check and see if anybody chimed in. Oh,
Justin.
what's up, Justin?
The director of Thriller was John Landis.
John Landis, cool.
Yeah, and he's
500,000. Okay, yeah, 500,000 million, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
But
a bunch of money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and now Machine Gun Kelly played Vince Neil. That was Machine Gun Kelly played Vince Neil, which a lot of people were like, what the hell?
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
He's a rapper.
Oh, okay.
That's why everybody was like, what the hell? He's usually one of them people, he's like, always in dissing like Eminem or something, because he's kind of like an Eminem, or, wants to be or whatever. But and I've noticed with the record companies, you can only have one white rapper at a time. You ever noticed that? It's like,
oh, no.
they can only be one.
There's only room for one.
It's like, we can only have one white rapper.
Kind of like a deer tag.
Yeah, and anybody else that raps, they're attached to a metal band or something. They got, But yeah, Machine Gun Kelly there, he was, I guess he was always a big fan. I was reading like some stuff about it. He was always a big fan of Motley Crue back in the day. It's like, I know a lot of people, whether they want to admit it or not, it's like, you liked Motley Crue, or they were in your musical rotation, because they were everywhere, and that's what was hot back then.
That's what I try and explain to my kids. When back in the '80s, your Poisons, you can make fun of Winger if you want, but they were a kick-ass band.
Right.
All these bands in the '80s, that was top 40 music back then.
Right.
That's what you heard on the radio every day. Whereas now you kind of there's your Octanes and stuff on the satellite radio and all that, but
we do the XM thing in the car.
But top 40 music back then was Whitesnake,
and that's it. You only got what you got fed, and the only time that you ever saw anything out of that realm was when you went to like the record stores that had imports and all these other stuff. That was like
you had to seek it out.
There was Bull Moose, and back before it was even Bull Moose, it was Digital Dungeon or whatever, and they started having imports, and like Bull Moose was the first record store up there that I had ever seen independent local music. They'd have it right out on the thing. Oh, check this band out, and the cashier would actually recommend a local band to you. It's like, really growing up, that never happened. It was just straightforward, like you said, your White Snakes and they're back.
Yep.
They're doing a tour right now. They were doing one of them cruise liner things there, but I guess they're doing a full on tour. I only got one thing that it's kind of a little off-putting about David Coverdale. He's gotten older. His veneers are a little too big for his head.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, I mean, he's still. I don't know. Sometimes it's like it's kind of bittersweet when you see some of these bands come back, because it's like there's a lot of blatant, we're just coming back because, you know, I need a little bit more money for retirement, or, you know, and, you know, but then there's the other hat of it, like, I interviewed Eric Peterson from Testament a little while back, and, you know, like, the whole sense with him is, you know, they took a break just because they just needed a break, but it wasn't like they ever stop. They're not like coming back. They never win anywhere.
They never stop. They just
it's just,
hey, we're going to chill for a while.
And then now with these big festivals, see, because that's like the thing nowadays, because they're so worried about turnout, which, you know, the internet has killed, and I gotta say too, and maybe a little percentage of the live streaming and stuff can take away from people actually going to events, but at the same time, it broadens your audience to people that couldn't even get to your event.
True. Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword in that aspect. But
they need to have like blackouts for that area, but have it beyond that. You know,
yeah, exactly.
If you can, but
yeah, that would be so illegal. Just black out that whole area. Can't live stream.
Well, they do pro football games.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
They'll black it out in the. You know, they're like, hey, come to the game. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right there. Actually, they probably could do that.
I don't know if they still do it. I remember when they used to. They used to have blackouts for the local area. Yeah.
I know. Well, see, like about like the festival thing though, it's like a lot of bands are getting on that because they're afraid of what their turnout's going to be. That they don't have that fan base anymore.
Right.
And you know what I mean. I guess it's you know, I just went to the Fort Rock Festival and I could not believe how many bands, big bands, they were cramming in. And I mean, they had 3 stages going, and as soon as one got done, the other one was starting, and you were walking to that. I mean, they were boom, boom, boom. There was no wait time, except for the last band, which was Tool, you know. But really, the band that played before them, Bring Me the Horizon, I had never seen them before, never even heard of them. Whoa, awesome! They put everything into their show, like shit that just you're like. No, that shouldn't work, but it did.
Yeah. They
even, you know what color guard is from high school? Remember the girls that would do the flags, all that? They had that.
Huh.
I was like, color guard? Are you serious? The only reason I knew about it is because my son's in high school band, or he was.
You need visuals.
Right.
You know,
I was like,
visuals.
Holy shit, they brought out color guard? I was like, wow.
Whatever works. Bring some attention to yourself. Somebody will say, hey, you remember that band that brought those chicks out with the flags?
Exactly. And it was, they really, though, not only did they just put on a cranking show, but like I said, like the visuals and just their interaction with the crowd was, I mean, he was telling the crowd, everybody, hey, sit down! And he wanted everybody to crouch down. And then people weren't understanding what he was talking about, and he's all crouched down. Finally, he's like, "Oh, fuck it!" And they just went into the song. It was hilarious. Everybody was cracking up.
Yeah, they're not getting it
because he's Irish or Scottish or something. He's got that kind of that accent from that region.
Probably didn't know what the hell he was saying.
And it was just funny the way he was like, fuck it, and they went right in. But they were just. They were just an excellent band. Now, one thing you talked about, how you got the studio and everything. Now, when it comes to like mastering your stuff, now what do you usually do with that?
I master myself.
You do it?
Yeah.
You do it all in house?
Yep. I bought a expensive ass plug-in just for mastering.
Right.
It's got multi-band compressors, multi-band exciters. It's an all-in-one plug-in.
All that stuff.
Yeah, you can tune the stuff right in and make it sound really nice.
And seeing that, and that's it. I mean, there's so much that you got to put the money and the work and everything into it. But there are so many more options now on the ability. Before it was like, and I mean it still is to a certain extent. You got to take, because not everybody's gonna even if they have the money for a plug-in. Well, what the hell do they do with it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotta learn it.
You got to have the know-how and the time and the patience to learn that shit. And be kind of savvy in that. And that can get overwhelming to a novice or somebody that, hey man, I'm just here to play guitar.
Yeah.
It's like I can write tunes and stuff, but I don't computer so much.
Well, all this Pro Tools stuff kind of brought together two things.
Made everybody a producer.
Well, as far as me and my studio, it brought together. I got a degree in bachelor's in electronics. I've been doing computers. my whole life.
Right.
And then music, I've been doing music, and then when Pro Tools come about, I was like, hey, that's a marriage between two things that I know. So I took to it probably quicker than
right. Yeah, picked it up. Yeah.
I'm not. There's Pro Tools is so vast. You can't learn all of it. You cannot.
Well, it's just like I use Ableton a lot.
Yeah.
And,
there's a lot of good programs out there.
And the only reason Ableton was just one of the first ones that I learned that I could, kind of meld with. And I, with the way they do things, that's kind of how I think now when it comes to a DAW.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at the same time, once you get your feet wet or you're a little sure with that, it kind of opens you up and you're able to make little steps forward in those areas.
Yeah, I think that's why the Four Skulls, our World of Hurt album, it took us a year from start to finish. Because I was learning Pro Tools
right
as I was going. We were recording and writing an album, and I watched YouTube videos on how to do shit.
Right. Well, that's It's awesome about YouTube.
Yes. So there was this one guy named Graham Cochran. He's down here in Florida somewhere. He records Christian music. It doesn't matter, but he could explain things. And then I would watch like a clip at work, and I'd say, "Oh, I need to try that on mine." So I'd go back home, and so I'm like, "Oh, that's a cool thing that I need to do." So then I'd have to go do it to all 10 songs.
Right.
You know what I mean? While I was doing it, so I wouldn't forget. So yeah, that's one reason it took a year. Because I was getting
that's
get
just
the Pro Tools. That World of Hurt was the first album that came out of my studio.
Really?
Yeah, it was the very first one we done. So I think it did pretty good right out of the gate. Yeah, I think
well, that's
so.
what I'm saying. The sound, everything, and now about that too, like being like in the position of being a musician, recording and stuff. I've always noticed that it's when you're the musician and now you're also the producer and the mix and master, it's hard sometimes to let go of things or realize that something isn't going to work or how long do you find yourself kind of like like hamming and hawing over things before you're finally like fuck it.
Now I do that, but on that album, once we decided, hey, it's going to be a concept.
Right.
We didn't have any throwaway songs. We knew what the next song.
Because it was a story.
We knew what the next song was going to be about, so we knew what kind of vibe it should have, and
they should all basically have that same sound and feel as far as the mastering and everything.
Yeah. So it's just all of we didn't, like I said, usually a band will write 30 songs and pick 10, 12, whatever. But those are the only 10 we wrote. Sat down and wrote a story. Yeah.
That's no easy feat either, because Good Against the Living, I throw theirs because it's not only is it the neatest concept album where it's an actual kind of biography of the Apollo space program, and it's like if you were to say, hey, we're going to write an album about the Apollo space program.
Oh, really?
Really? Well, and it's an excellent album. The album is just awesome. And being somebody that knows stuff about it, it's like not only are they using like clips from actual, astronauts talking and stuff like that, but like I said, knowing about this stuff and knowing what they're singing about, it's like they're using phrases and stuff that were like famous, or if you knew anything about the space program that certain people said, that kind of. And the thing is, though, is okay, it's one thing to make a big story about a space program or a soldier in the army, but are they individually songs that you could just take out and that be a standalone song? And there are some like concept albums, a lot more from the past, where they're almost like there's like something missing if you take one song out and just listen to that. You're like, this feels like it's supposed to be a part of something else, or and that's the one thing with like the World of Hurt album, is every song stands individually on its own.
You can take it out and
you
play
can rearrange them if you wanted. I mean, knowing about the album, it kind of ceases to make sense then, and then you find yourself telling yourself the story in your head to make, this is supposed to be number one, this is number two, at least I do that because I'm a weirdo.
What was it you said stands out in
I'm sorry.
He's lost.
Sure.
He's lost. Anyway, he did a review of our album, back when it was, but he
really?
he had a real good line just about that. Stands out in the end. Shit, I lost it. Oh well.
I do that all the time. I'll do that while I'm talking right on live air. Just I forgot what I was talking about. Here's the next song.
I was always a big Rush head, so that kind of linked me to the concept album. I love concept albums, Queensryche and all that. But also like the Cock and Balls, Van Halen, and the Motley Crue.
Right.
Sometimes you just want to act like an idiot.
Right. Just have fun.
Yeah.
But that, that, like I said, I mean that's why, like at the beginning, I was asking you about. I wanted to talk about the concept part of it, because it can be really easy to, when you get sucked into, okay, we're making an all-encompassing story here, and you can kind of like get almost like you're writing one big song that's separated, and you kind of want it to have that vibe while somebody's listening to it, but at the same time, you don't want every song to have the vibe like it belongs to something else.
Yeah.
So, and that's one good thing that you guys really, you do it. It pulls it right off without, I mean, we get, obviously, like, some of the most requested is like World of Hurt. Not Dead Yet.
World of Hurt was the number one. We knew coming in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We knew coming in.
And Not Dead Yet. There's a that song speaks to so many people for so many other reasons. It speaks to addiction. It speaks to a lot of different things that, again, you take that song out of its whole package, and it has a whole nother meaning to people, and a whole nother, that it doesn't even really have to connect to the army or any of that, people that are, sucked into the depths of drug addiction and that kind of life can really relate, with a lot of the, the vibes that come off that album.
And I've done several interviews, talking about the album with other people and stuff, and I'm surprised sometimes when they'll pick out a different song that nobody else did.
Right.
They'll say, this one really spoke to me. Like, this is my favorite song, and I'm like, really?
You actually listened to the whole album?
Yeah.
No shit. First of all, that's your first thought. Wow, they actually listened to the whole album.
Great.
See, and that's just like that's happened a few times. I remember when Isolated Antagonists, they're another one that did a big concept. In fact, they got a whole like 3-4 albums that all connect. And they're all about this one big story.
Oh, awesome.
And it's this whole sci-fi metal genre that I knew nothing about. Well, when I got the album to review it, I just sat, popped it in, and I listened to it from beginning to end. And the one thing, and World of Hurt does the same thing, is it's like you go on a ride, you go on this journey, it's like a movie, but just with sound. It's like,
right.
so if you sat back and closed your eyes, you'd see all these pictures. And it's very, it's not like so literal, like here, okay, we're gonna, you know what I'm saying? But it's like the pictures are painted so vividly and so good. And going back to the Isolated Antagonist thing, there was songs that I picked out right up, like this, I gotta show this to people. And they were like, it was one of the last songs that they thought would get played on the air, but it really shows that when you own that material.
Yeah, you're too close to it.
Yeah, you're in a whole nother world, and then when you give it to people and they take that, and that's and I gotta say that's gotta be I know you guys talked about it when you were up in Maine, just being that far away from home and then seeing people singing your song.
Oh yeah, that was Dwayne and I talk about it often. That was really the first time that we had that rock star thing happen. And we weren't expecting it. We were expecting to go up, play and hang out and have fun, which we did. But we got the rock star treatment in it, and we were taken aback because we were not used to that. We were thinking, all right, we're just a bunch of blokes coming up to play, and these guys treating us like royalty, or kind of even standoffish a little bit, like, hey, there's 4 skulls,
There's 4 skulls right over there. Holy shit! Yeah, I remember I had a few people come up, can you introduce me? I was like, just go up and say hi, man. It's all right. You sure?
Yeah,
like
so
security was going to take him away. What are you doing?
yeah, we laugh about it now, but yeah, that was our first taste of that, and it was really weird. We didn't know how to take it.
Well, I remember seeing him
Yeah, it was
looking
odd.
down and he was singing it, and he's like watching people sing the words back to him. And it was just like he was like,
Yeah.
holy.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
it does it. I guess obviously your more elite stars take that for granted, that people that their music touches people, and I think some of these stars, and a lot of them in the pop and the country realms or whatever, that aren't writing their own music, it's easier for them to get disconnected from that because it's just a song. They're just getting paid to do a song,
Yeah.
and if it connects to you, well, that's good, But it's like I almost feel like some of them feel awkward taking the credit for something, so they get kind of complacent about it. Like,
Yeah, well,
you
think of some of the bigger bands, they throw you in a damn bus and run you up and down the East Coast, and you do 60 shows or whatever in a short amount of time. Maybe at the end, by the time you might yeah.
I'm sick of this song.
I think Justin's missing you. He's blowing it up over there. There's that old ones.
Said you fuckers got a lot of fans in Maine. Yeah, he's been giving us tidbits in the chat.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's he saying. Who? Oh, Graven Image did a. That was a band. They had changed their name. We got these shirts, and then all of a sudden they changed their name. I was like,
wow.
Because I think there was another band in the UK or whatever that had the same name.
We had, when Four Skulls started, we had maybe half the album written, and we didn't have a band name yet. And we had the hardest time coming up with something. Every time we'd call, we'd text, and then we all sat in the studio, all sat in one room and said, all right, damn it, we're going to come up with a band name or nobody's leaving. Okay? So if somebody come up with something, one guy, he sat and jotted down probably 100 of them.
Right.
Just two, and then we'd read them off, and then everybody's like, oh, that's kind of cool. All right, then you get on the computer, you Google. And you're like,
damn it!
fuck. All right, mark that one off. Somebody's got that one. That was a cool name, though. And it went on and on. We were there probably like 3 hours.
No shit.
And we finally, some kind of skull thing coming up, and just out of the blue, I said, well, hell, we ought to just be four fucking skulls. 4 skulls. Everybody's like,
that's pretty funny.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad. So we look it up. Nobody's got it. Okay, ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Hit the golden.
Quick. Patent that shit, copyright, do whatever you gotta do, engrave it in a plaque. Let's just own it.
Yeah, it was tough.
Justin was saying, and it's playing in the background right now, one song that another one we get a lot of requests for, and people can't get enough of up in Maine, is Why.
Yeah.
That's
huge.
That song speaks to a lot, and again, it speaks to the, look, we have a societal issue with addiction, and a lot of people want to leave it at just, drugs and heroin, but yet we operate our social medias and everything are designed around addiction. They are designed to addict you, to keep you there.
Yep.
They have people in lab coats and psychologists and shit in the background figuring out how else they can make you stay on their platform.
Yeah.
And when you have a society that's getting addicted and they don't even know it, it's being, if you're somebody that's dealt with addiction or whatever and have seen the real ugly truth of all of it and the whole thing that comes with that, sitting back and seeing it, and it's like, whoa, these people are getting the lethal injection and they don't even really know it, and I think it's and it really, like, songs like that really kind of speak to a lot of people, for a lot of,
Yeah, that song is probably our most Alice in Chains-ish.
Oh, yeah.
Thing.
That's one thing.
It's just
Justin
slippery
said
and
to me,
slimy,
he goes,
and Yeah.
He goes, you want to hear a song that sounds like just like Alice in Chains? He goes,
Yeah.
I could tell people this is Alice in Chains and they would believe me. I was like, you're right.
When we came to Maine, that was like Dwayne wasn't in the band very long. That was like his third or fourth gig with us.
Wow.
And Dwayne had been out of the game for a while, and you know he went completely nuts on stage.
Oh yeah.
Dwayne Chris. Dwayne Chris. He got up there and he's just because he's real quiet.
Yeah, that's the thing about him. So when you see him, it's like,
then,
whoa, where'd that guy come
and
from?
then he got on stage, man. He just went nuts, and I was looking over there. I was like, "Fuck yeah, rock on, man! Let her go, let her loose." He needed to release some aggression or something, and like that was say third or fourth show with him, but the more we've played Why and the more that he's getting the backing vocals and stuff, and now when we do that, we've gotten so much better at getting the backing vocals and everything. It's gotten better and better and better, and when we play it now, man, and it just all melds and stuff.
When you hit them spots that your hands stand up, and it's like, holy shit, we're making this.
Yeah, I tell you, I said we like to sound like a little schoolboy choir.
Yeah,
it's all coming together. Really.
When you get done with the song, you're all giggling.
Yeah,
that was fucking awesome. Holy shit! All right, be rock stars. Hold on. Yeah, whatever.
But it took a while to get there because it's not an easy song to play, especially with all the backing vocals and whatever.
Right. And well, not for nothing, but I mean, vocally, period. He just, lays it out. It's not just like a going through the motions song where he's just. There's a lot of just heartfelt belting out in that song where he just lets notes carry, and which says a lot for his singing.
Yeah, he's a good singer.
But like you said,
he's a good singer.
To have everybody in that sound where everybody, it is, and it again. That was one of the songs that when you guys were playing it, I'm looking around and I'm watching people look up at you and they're all mouthing the words, and I'm like, oh man, I was getting all. My bottom lip was kind of quivering. I was like, holy shit, dude, this is happening. Look at these guys. This is the shit. I remember, man, it was just like, I remember looking over at Justin, and we both kind of gave each other that look, and we looked at you guys up on stage and looking at everybody else. We're like, holy shit, man, this is awesome.
It was good.
And that was just it. And that's, one of the things that, local music earth in general is about. It's about making all them connections and putting, getting, people that aren't going to be in your area, and you finding ways, even if it is live streaming or something, to get, that there's the local scene everywhere that's thriving.
We took away one big takeaway from our show up there with you guys, when you guys brought us up there, was the other bands, how they supported each other, and how they were all like a big conglomerate.
Yep.
One band, was playing, and two of the other local bands are crowd surfing each other. And it's not like that in our area,
right?
And that was a big takeaway when we came back here. We was like,
yeah,
our area should be doing this. All these guys are supporting each other.
Yeah, the camaraderie up there
is
second to none.
Yeah.
They really, there is so many times where, because of bands helping each other out, mind you, some bands that aren't even playing in the show, and it's like, oh shit, you need a freaking snare? Or, hold on, I'll run to my house. And, it's like, how many other bands would just sit back and, wow, that sucks, guys, bumming. It's like, how's he going to do that? It's like, I remember there's a show we talk about a lot where, the Killing Hours came up from Florida. They were on their tour. One of their last shows was up in Maine. They deserved a much better place. I'm not gonna, put the place down. It's just, it's not conducive for a band of, that caliber and stuff to be, they were basically just playing on a floor. There was some dive bar basically. It isn't even set up for bands. Well, me and Greg were covering another show down at the what's now the Asylum. And we go back up there. Greg's going to do sound. The only problem is there's no soundboard. So here, and then and it got even better. There was just all sorts of shit. It's like, how are we even going to do this? We don't even got mic stands. But everybody was just like, all right, give me a minute, and all these band members just pulled shit instead of sitting back and going, well, okay, I guess the gig's over.
Yeah.
Friggin' let's call it a day. They all pulled together a lot, and also when I kind of got a sense of, when they got somebody, that they saw as like, this is Four Skulls. We need to be showing people of this caliber that we have this kind of camaraderie up here, and I think there was a general census that's what they want people to take away.
Yeah, that was a huge takeaway for us.
It was. It is. I always talk about it a lot. How much there's just
something else you all have is guys like you and Justin and Naughty. Real fans that are getting this shit out to people.
Right. Yeah. It's no easy feat.
No, I know it's not. I mean, you guys do it every day. All advertising, this and that. Everybody knows about everything. You guys are really serious about what you all do, and that's something we don't have back home.
Right.
We don't have that.
Well,
so that little area right there. I mean, they don't know how
lucky
they got it.
Yeah. So I notice people get like complacent about it, or they'll get because they get used to it, and it's like, well, it's kind of cool. You've gotten used to the fact, but if I take this away or stop doing this, you're going to notice. You're going to notice in a lot of stuff, your views, all that, because, and that's where Justin and I have really, there's been a few times where there's been some shysters trying to latch on or tag us in things where they're trying to make money off things.
Yeah.
And, everything we do is free. We're not charging bands to do anything. We don't charge you to play your music. We don't charge you. There's all sorts of other things that you're going to have to spend your money on.
Oh, yeah.
But us ain't going to be one of them.
Yep.
And that's why it pisses me off so much when I see people trying to charge people to get on their Spotify list. Well, first of all, fuck Spotify. It's a rip-off to begin with.
I don't do
so
Spotify.
I don't want your Spotify bots. Thank you very much. It's... I couldn't believe when they just the president there and all the people, they signed in the new MMA thing, which at first I was like, MMA? Oh, some new wrestling rules and making football? What? But it basically kind of updates how musicians are getting paid these days.
And more or less doubled it.
And I couldn't believe that one of the first people that got hit hard, Napster and everything. They were one of the first to be in support of. Well, yeah, they need to be getting paid more. And then Spotify was like, "Oh, we can't afford this."
No,
what do you mean you can't? Oh my God!
Everybody hates Lars for what he did back in the day.
Right.
At the time, but
now
you're like, huh? He was right. He was right.
And really it was
Love him or hate him, he was right.
That's the thing, and I mean, a lot of people. There was a lot of kind of at the time too, the climate and everything. It just looked like a money-hungry musician trying to squeeze the fans out of being and it's like, but at the same time, it's like he couldn't have known how music was going to be in the future.
Right.
But I think visually he was kind of seeing, all right, if this goes too far, nobody's going to get paid.
Right.
Ever. And there's going to be people putting out all this work, and nowadays putting out an album, the money from an album is really secondary. They don't even really count on the fact that they're going to make money on the album.
Yeah.
The money is just an advertisement. The album is just an advertisement for all the merch they want to sell you.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's really
merch and playing.
Shows.
That's
you got to do the
money.
live shows, and I mean, of course, once you got like the music in disc form and stuff like that, you're turning those over and stuff, but those still cost money to make. It isn't like you're making a shit ton of money on any type of stuff like that.
It's like Peter Frampton come out, and it's probably been a year ago. He said, "Oh, I had 55 million streams of the song "Show Me the Way." Well, 55 million streams, and he got a check for $1,700. So, yeah, that blows.
And
he testified before Congress and told him, and the guy was like, "Do what?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, put this into context of your paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
See how you like it,
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't. And when I think a lot of the people that kind of snub their nose at this type of talk are just, they don't understand, or they don't get it, or they're not, they just see a bunch of rich people trying to get more money, and it's like, no, they're not even getting paid.
No.
You know what I mean? You would think that, how many times have you heard Feel Like We Do on the friggin' radio?
Mm-hmm.
And, dude, I remember getting sick of that song on the radio. It was like they played it every half hour or something. The live version. Good night.
We played.
Which is awesome, by the way. Peter Frampton Comes Alive, one of the best live albums out there. But they played the shit out of that. You would think he'd have a nice, right bank account, just collecting dividends.
Well, I think he did back in the day, because back then, but
not
now,
when it got on
but not
Spotify.
now.
They were like, "Thank you for the music."
Well, I remember 3 years, about 3, 4
Here's
years.
half a penny.
3, 4 years ago, we opened up for Pop Evil, played a show with them.
No shit. Yeah.
And when they were done, they were out front with the merch as people were walking out the door.
Selling their merch.
The guys in the band, by the door. Hey man, CDs $5. Hey man, T-shirts $10. It was them, and they're pretty decent size.
They don't. You wouldn't think they need to be doing that at all.
Need McDonald's tomorrow.
Yeah, right. I know. That was one thing I wanted to talk to you about too, like the tour, and I've noticed some bands have gotten kind of savvy with they get gym memberships to Planet Fitness, which is a pretty good gym, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
And it's pretty smart, because when you become like I think it's like a black member or whatever. I forget all the tiers. I was just regular $5 a month or whatever. I think you're still gonna. They make you come down in person to cancel your membership. You can't just do it over the online. No. You got to come to us. And it's like, I guess I'm giving you another $5 this month.
Guilt you out of
it's
it.
right there too. We drive by all the time. It's like, I don't want to go in there because then I'll feel guilty that I'm. It's like they're gonna look at me. Do you really want to look at you? Do you really think you should be canceling this? But no. The idea is they can shower and everything, get worked out. You're getting off the bus or out of the van, all that. And I think it's a pretty clever, way for a lot of bands to be able to, because, again, back to the money. It ain't like, I've worked with a couple of local bands that were from up in Maine that have gotten sponsored to travel through, but there are so many that they just want to get out there and get their names out in some other states, and there's nobody paying them to do that.
Yeah.
You gotta be clever.
Look to cut corners any way you can.
Now, what did you guys like on the way up? I mean, I know you guys had the trailer, so it was a little bit easier.
Yeah.
For you guys with the whole, the traveling friggin' house.
Yeah,
you had more square footage than my apartment at the time, you ass.
we were self-sufficient. We actually we drove halfway. I think Allentown. We stopped in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and they had a KOA campground. So we went to we went into a KOA campground, hooked up, shower shader and all that.
And that's the thing about them coaches and everything, is you can.
Yeah, that thing had 3 pull-outs and plenty of room, so we were self-sufficient.
Yeah, that thing was.
I think we pulled in a rest area once and spent the night. Maybe on the way back, just keep the generator running.
I didn't know.
Just keep gas in it.
Walmarts are a designated place for people I didn't realize that. I was like, is that why they made the parking lot so damn big?
They'll let you just hang out.
Yeah, that's what they actually encourage you to, because chances are you gotta come in and buy some shit.
Right.
Come on, spend the night, no problem. We're open 24/7. But and that's another thing too nowadays with marketing, and I know you specifically, but Four Skulls is one of the bands that I always point to, where if you're ever wondering what else you should be doing, go look at what they're doing. They're just a good example of, if you don't think that you're in enough places, check out all the places they are. And then, if you're at least half of them, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Because I was like, fucking Four Skulls has their own flock of carrier pigeons. If they want the word out there, they're going to get it out there. And that's, I think, one thing that, like I said, I really like, and like another band like Grave Hopper that, you know, constantly looking for new ways in moving with the times and, you know, the new platforms and stuff like that. And, you know, like, even if you're not spending time, like I bitch about it a lot to bands, even if you're not spending time on these platforms, have a presence.
Yep, have a presence on all of them.
You know, just be there, upload some videos to it, because chances are there's going to be people that they're going to see you there and they're going to be like, oh, I could probably find more on YouTube, or I could find, you know, always find more on YouTube.
Yeah, when I done ours, you know, I bought this one package, you know, $60, you know, to get on 200 platforms all over the world.
Right. See?
And I was like, yeah, we'll do that.
Holy shit! Yeah.
And then, you know, then later you're getting a message on Facebook from a guy in Russia.
Yeah. See?
And I'm like, you know, where the hell he is?
And I try to tell these bands because this, and like you can attest to this too, because of just like what you said, because people don't realize that, you know, they think, oh well, I'm getting out all over the world. Well, no, Facebook is to a certain extent region locked. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of region locking in a lot of these social media platforms. You might feel like you're getting out there, but you're not really going as far as you. In order to like get to certain, you have to like go directly to some of these things. And I was like talking about how, like, you know, I know Russia is the big, you know, stupid, but there's a lot of like Russian platforms. How they do their browsers is like a one-stop shop entertainment type thing. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of bands on there that, you know, there's independent music on there because it's a one-stop shop. People can go to this browser, they can go get their music, they can get some videos. Well, if you're there, chances are they're going to see you. But if you're on Facebook, well, you know, people seem to, you know, that's the thing is, you know, you got to think outside of your, you know, your little nest. Mm-hmm. You know, and I point to you guys a lot for that. It's like, you know, they're on platforms you've never even heard of.
Yep.
You know, but there's some dude in Bangladesh that's rocking out to Four Skulls right now. Yep. You know, so
yeah, it's really amazing. Case in point, you know, last few years, you know, I got my birthday. My birthday will come up, and I'll get birthday wishes like a day before. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, you know,
because they're on a different time.
Right. So I'm like, it's not my birthday yet. And then I look, well, this dude's in Australia, you know, and that's what all this shit does for you now.
Well,
you know, makes you worldwide. You know, you're like, man, that's weird. You know, it's not even my fucking birthday.
Yeah.
But it is to him.
And you know, like with the radio thing, of course, you know, there's the syndication end of it. Like right now, we're on XRP radio in the UK. Mm-hmm. That's a whole nother radio station.
Yep.
We're also, you know, on Local Music Earth.
Yep.
And you know, this will also be redone on Digital Revolution Radio. All these stations have their own global audiences that, you know, reach places that, you know, you're not even really thinking about all. You know, it's like, and that's, I think a lot of people, again, I think they, you know, it's like, how serious are you about this? And how far do you really want to, is this just your hobby? Or do you want to make something of this? Do you want to make, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I would think that a lot of people want to at least have something they can look back on and be proud of. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and with all the abilities, like I remember showing Justin one of the softwares we use, Restream, which makes it so when you stream live, you're streaming to multiple platforms. Didn't work so good today, but but
it'll get there.
But what it was like, as soon as the first time I saw it, I'm like, I've never even heard of like 3/4 of these platforms. Didn't even know they existed. But you go to them and they have their own audiences of people, because the things that we're accustomed to don't even exist in other countries. So it's, you know, people really need to get their head around that more. And if they really kind of, and I think it's hard for some people to get out of that because they get so used to the normal. I know, even as a DJ that, you know, it's my job to get out there to everybody. It's easy to get stuck in the rut of, well, I'm just going to do the big four.
Yeah.
And
well, the video seems to, like, just in the last year really taken off, hasn't it? Different different things popping up. I know Twitch has been around for a few years,
Yeah.
but it's just now getting popular. I mean, I remember you. You guys were the second person I'd heard of. I'm like, oh, I've heard of Twitch because
Yep.
I got a niece that does video gaming
Mhm.
and stuff, and she's on Twitch and
Cool.
all that. And but yeah, video is becoming more important. So that's something that we're going to
Well,
we're going to do
you
more
know-
of that. You've probably seen the Mick and Dwayne show. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
The
wanted
Mick and
to,
Dwayne
yeah, I
show.
want to talk to you about that too. So, yeah, speaking
The
of
famous,
streaming.
the famous
Yes,
Mick and Dwayne show.
I was just talking about it the other day. Tell me some stuff about this now. How long have you guys been doing this now?
Probably about a year. It was just impromptu. I got a little Mevo camera I bought off somebody, and it says, "Hey, you can stream direct to Facebook." And I told Dwayne, I said, "Let's do a video." So I cranked it on there, and we're sitting in the studio.
Well, no, it first was, let's get drunk, and then
yeah.
But duh.
That always goes. Yeah, we have the rule is if the show starts at 9, we have to start drinking by 8.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and
Priorities,
it starts 9-ish. Probably closer to 9:30.
Yeah.
He'll say, "I'm not ready. I need one more drink."
Hold on, my glass is empty.
So it just started out, we just did a Facebook Live once, hey, we're live in the studio, this is what we're into, blah, blah, blah. And Dwayne and I some people have told us, I don't know, but some people have told us that Dwayne and I just have this certain dynamic with each other.
You do, yeah.
When we're on air, I always tell him, I say, "You're the Ed McMahon," because he just said something and goes, he laughs at my jokes.
Yeah.
And
Whether they're funny or not, he's the laugh track.
So we did a few Facebook Lives, and this band, 3 Days Under, this Christian metal band I was recording at the time.
Yeah, I remember seeing stuff about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their drummer Nathan, he's like, "Man, I love that. You guys ought to call that the Mick and Dwayne show." He said, "I love it," and I was like,
That's
"Hey,
a good idea.
Yeah, maybe we'll start doing this." So every couple of weeks, we just do a Mick and Dwayne show, or just sit and talk about the goings on with the band or whatever, and then
Right.
then I'll look through and see some music news and see some news, anything that interesting to me.
Right.
And then I started, and I told Larry, I said, I have started the last few episodes doing 80s metal trivia. So we're actually getting the people in the chat.
Actually, though, I watched the last one where you were doing that.
Yeah.
I knew it, but by the time I was seeing it, I was like, I'm just going to be answering to nothing.
So we're actually interacting with the people
That's
live
the
and
thing,
getting them to guess.
And that's just it.
Have
It's
these
not
questions. Yeah.
That's the thing, and that people, and I know some bands are probably like nervous about this because a lot of bands are they're shy people, and it's hard to believe, but there's a lot of band members that are shy dudes, or shy women too. I mean, they go and it's like, dude, you just belted out, about 40 minutes worth of awesome. You were right down, face up in the crowd, screaming, blah blah blah, getting everybody riled up. Now I want to get a soundbite from you, and you're all like, you can't even like say your name and shit. You're all like,
some people are just that way.
and it's just, but so I know that there's a hesitancy with some bands to be like, well, it's one thing to stream a performance or whatever, but the interaction, and it's like that fear of being caught on the spot,
right?
Or something like that.
Well, some of them may have that. I'm this guy on stage. Maybe they don't want somebody to see
Right.
how they are in real life. We rock. I think we rock pretty good, and then off stage we're goofballs.
Yeah, I'm just
That's just the way it is.
I'm this dude.
Yeah.
But I think it's really all this streaming stuff has really shown how much people are really kind of voyeurs, and they like watching into other people's lives or dynamics or and people have surely gotten sick of the regular mainstream entertainment. And when there's something more personable, and you can actually talk to somebody that you admire or look up to, in any type of field. And that's what these platforms provide, is that direct connection between, you to ask a question and for people to answer it in real time.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing that we're, and it's a great tool, and I'm like I didn't even know that the Mick and Dwayne show was a thing. I was like, what? And then I said, holy shit, this is awesome. So how far? I mean, do you have any plans with that? Or you just
we've talked about maybe. I even chatted with Justin because you guys are a little further along into it, and he was telling me about some. Hey, here's maybe some options you ought to take it. So we're thinking about taking it another step. So
well, with the Twitch thing, and then even with the YouTubes, they got the super chats and stuff. I mean, you watch people sitting there. And they'll like with the YouTube, if you wanna ask a question, you pay money. Mm-hmm. So it'd be some people pay $5 or whatever. But it's a way to directly support your artist, and you can know that money that I just get, it's going right to them. I just seen them get it, and they thanked me for it. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
This.
Oh, money.
Yeah, well, yeah, and with Twitch, the way they got it is they got their own type of currency in there, bits and all that, and it all equals to real money,
right?
But just the little things that you can do in there that make people feel more at home and more like a part of what you're doing.
Yeah,
not just watching you, but a part of the show, that you're actually responding to what they have to say about your goofballisms.
And it amazes me that I'll run into people. Oh, I love your. I went to the bank last week. My son's trying to buy. We're going to buy him a house. He's getting married. So I went and talked to a guy about having my son come in for a loan and stuff. He's like, oh man, I really love your old Mick and Dwayne show, and I'm covering my eyes. I'm oh man, you watch it too? What's wrong with you people?
Is there nothing on TV?
And I always tell Dwayne, I said, these people have got fucking nothing to do. They're watching our dumb asses.
And it just shows that some people, they just want somebody to sit around and laugh at.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they can laugh at us.
I provide that on a regular basis. Justin said when I mentioned something about the carrier pigeons, he said, "Yeah, carrier pigeons named Justin and Joe."
True that. If I want it out there,
the leaders of the fleet.
Yeah, there's three forms of communication. There's telephone, telegraph, and tell Justin. It's going to get out there.
Oh man, that's awesome. Here, keep that in mind. Well, I was saying the other day, I was like, they even send out smoke signals when they get a world premiere. They got some old Indian up on a mountain sending out smoke signals. Yep. 4 Skulls premiere.
You got to do it though, man. You got to put the time in.
Yeah,
you got to put the time. You got to put the time in.
And
it's not easy.
And to that, I mean, any advice to, there's a lot of up and coming bands that look to bands like you guys, especially when I say, look at these guys, look at what they're doing. But no, there's a lot of bands that admire you guys, and that
and there's a lot of guys up in Maine. Signal to Noise is one that we look. They're
Signal to Noise.
I got all their stuff on. I was jamming to driving around. I dig their music, dig the guys, Coop and all them.
They're just awesome people. Period.
They and Greg Burns. He wasn't even with them when we went up there. He was one of the first guys that come up and gave me a hug when I came to Maine. I was like, "What's up, Greg? Great to meet you." And Coop
He's
and
an
them,
awesome guy. Yeah, he's one of my favorite humans.
Yeah, Greg's great, and Coop and them, they let us park our RV one night down at their compound.
Yeah,
didn't have to. Just said, pull her in there.
Well,
hang out there. I was like, cool.
They came down here on the tour. I think it was the first time they came down. The Dirty Girl broke down.
Yeah.
And I had video of everybody pushing it to try to get it closer to the Blue Note where they played, and the Blue Note hooked them up with power and all that, so they could spend the night there while that park came. And all
Yeah.
that, made sure they had everything they needed. And then the guy from one of the bands, and I'm like, man, that whole Maine camaraderie thing kind of rubs off, because the guy from one of the bands was like, have any of you guys eaten today? And they're all like, no. And he's like, all right, well, I'll be right back. He went down and he brought back bags of McDonald's, freaking Big Macs. Also, at first I'm like, oh God, I'm looking at it, but he didn't ask no money, no. He just went and bought them all a shit ton of food, and was like, here, and you know,
these guys are 1,000 miles from home and broke down, you know.
And the thing is, though, is my point is they're the exact kind of guys that deserve treatment like that,
right?
Because they're the type of people. Not only do they come from a scene that just works like that, but there's just you know, that whole paying it forward or goes around.
Well, their attitudes are something to follow up there, and I think people, you know, it rubs off on the other people around them.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I mean, it's just that good energy that gets spread around. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of new up and coming bands, or just plain old fans that really, I mean, look up to you guys, and you know, and like I said, I use you guys as an example. I don't know, at least 3 times a week.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, y'all spin us all the time. I can always get on, and you know, either right in the middle of it or soon coming, you know, their Four Skulls song.
Yep.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate what you guys have done for us, bringing us to Maine. You know, was that, and you know, of course, the biggest is playing the music. You know, and that's brought in so many people to us. You know, the more the merrier. You know.
Well, I think.
And even Aaron says now. He said, man, you know, let's do some more gigs. I'm like, I want a new album. He's like, but there's still millions of people that haven't heard us.
Right.
There's still millions that haven't heard this album.
Yeah.
And I'm
He's right.
Yeah, he's right, but I still want.
Yeah, still gotta make another one.
Yeah, I still want another one.
Well, and you know, I think that again, that speaks to the way you guys, you know, hold yourselves and do your thing. That a lot of people just admire, you know, just the way you guys do your craft, you know. And again, like when I think some people get lost and, you know, or they can get complacent when they see their numbers on Facebook, and it kind of goes back to like the fake numbers or whatever. But when it's in a position where like you guys come all the way from where you're at to Maine, and to see people that these are actual people that came here to see us, all, you know, and it's and they're singing our songs.
Yeah. Yeah, you can have albums and all that and have it on all the platforms, but you still got to take the music to the people.
That's
you still got to take it to them.
So like so what I mean, if I was a band member looking, or a band looking, what advice would Mick Bryan have for a band these days?
Well, like we said, I mean, you got to have the social media, you know, ready. You know, the day your album drops, you should have a video ready.
Right.
You should have already built up, you know, some kind of social presence, because if you
hype for it.
Yeah, hype for the album, because if you're just starting and you drop it and you don't have any followers yet,
right?
You're dropping it to nobody. So you got to create some kind.
You're just dropping it.
Yeah.
You drop something.
It's a social media world, and you know that's the way it is now. Who knows, you know, how it'll be 10 years from now? But
it's so fast.
As for now, and when you release it, you know, get it on every digital platform that you possibly can, and then you got to promote, and you have to spend time and get in the chats of these stations that play your music. You can't just send the radio station your music and then sit back.
Yeah, you got to mingle.
Yeah, you got to get in the chat rooms, and you know they play your song, and you put your links and stuff, and people, oh, okay, I'll click that. But
exactly.
You got to interact. You got to interact. A lot of people, I don't have time for that. Well, you got to make time. You got to make time.
Look, we've had people that come in the chat that they will say, like, you know, right out, I don't usually get to, you know, check in because I'm at work or whatever, but we're always listening to you. Just wanted to drop a line and say hi and all that.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
That goes a long way, man, because DJs are seeing that and they're like, oh wow, homeboy's paying attention.
Yeah.
Guess who's getting played today?
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just kind of a no-brainer.
He's supporting us, we'll support him.
And I think some people think that, when a DJ says something like that, it's like, oh, well, you just want people to come, it's like, no, I want people to come see you. I'm trying to this is what the whole point of this is. I'm not, I don't got some big overlord handing me a bunch of cash saying, play these guys on the radio.
Well, it's hand in hand, the artist needs the DJs and the DJs need the artists, so, we gotta come together.
Exactly.
Come together. Get it out to the peeps.
We got any, Justin disappeared. I keep trying to go all the way over to this screen. Jesus, too many freaking mouses. So, what else? How long are you down here for?
It was Saturday to Saturday, so I'm flying back up this Saturday. So yeah, we got in last Saturday.
So no time to break any laws or anything like that. Oh, got a little bit of time.
I've already broke a few. I just ain't got caught.
It's easy down here, man. One thing I don't know what it was when I first got down here. It's zero tolerance down here, and I mean they're loosening up with like the weed laws and stuff like that. But for some reason, I just felt like so free, and here I am driving down the road with a beer in my hand, like, what are you doing? I don't know. It just feels like I should be drinking a beer right now. It's the tropics, man.
Yeah, it's Corona. It should.
Right?
Yeah.
I got a line.
I should be good. You all should be thanking me. That I acclimated so fast.
Exactly, right? It didn't take me too long. It took me about a year to really. I mean, right now we're sweating our balls off sitting here, but it took me about a year before my body, was finally I could go outside and not be like run back inside.
Yeah.
Because when you first like come down from a place like Maine, your body is so used to cold. And like the capillaries in your skin and everything are so much deeper, all the blood caps. So when you come to a place like Florida, you actually feel like you're boiling. It's like this, feeling of, and probably not as much like where you're from because it can get pretty hot.
Yeah, it can get pretty hot. Yeah.
So I know I just went to Georgia, and they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be hot while you're." I went to see nephew's graduation. And they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be hot when you come up here. Be ready." And I'm like, "We live in Florida, man. We know about hot.
Yeah.
The sun is like leaning on you. Hey, what's up?"
Well, like he was saying, you all have the breeze down here. You get up.
You go to Georgia, it was the coolest it was 99 in the shade.
Yeah.
Not a snowball in sight. And it was drier, but you were like, man, the breeze, it was like the heater in your car. Mm-hmm. That's what it felt like. It was like that just air. It just, oh God. Yeah, long story short, don't move to Georgia.
Yeah, I got two brothers that live in Atlanta, so I know.
I love the state. I love like a lot of the people and stuff. I got family there and everything, but I could never live there. Maybe closer to Atlanta or something.
It's nice there,
but they live out like by Augusta. That's all just fields, peanut farms, cotton fields, and not a whole lot of
plantations and such.
Yeah, well, not a whole lot of music going on, and it's just a lot of country music, So what's up on the agenda? You got the album from Passion coming out.
Finish that. Yeah.
When's that?
Finish that. This is June. I would say we probably hopefully by the end of the year have it released.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's that close.
And
it's that close. And then Four Skulls, I'm doing it in between all that.
So that is a running. You haven't just said it.
No, I didn't. No, it's not set aside. I'm writing. If I come up with licks or riffs or whatever, I'm putting them down, storing them, still thinking.
Right. Obviously. Yeah.
The Passion stuff's already wrote. There's no thought that has to go into
it. It's just it's all mechanical.
It's all you just got to perform it and get it on tape.
Right.
And,
tape what?
Yeah. That's what I always tell Dwayne. He's doing he'll do a bunch of bass tracks. I'm like, come on, get it right. I'm running out of tape here.
I tell somebody, hey man, we should tape this. Guy comes in with masking tape. What do we need? Oh man, I forgot you were
Yeah.
born in the '90s.
So yeah, that's what's going on. Like I say, that Passion album, it's just all like you say, mechanical. It's just getting it done.
Right.
There's not really a whole lot of thought process that has to go as far as visuals or anything like
Right.
that. But the Four Skulls, I've been thinking about it for hell. When we were in Cocoa last year, we were talking about concepts. We were trying to come up with concepts. And when I was throwing it around, Dwayne was down and he ran over and I was sitting out back drinking, of course. He was like,
of course.
and I've got my notes in my phone from then still, and I think I even said fear then. And that keeps becoming a recurring something in my head. But if I can find a way to connect it, fine. If not, maybe I'll do an album about dragons or some shit. I don't know. I think that's been done.
Dragons or some shit. Four Skulls, dragons and shit.
I even thought about, hey, the Crusades, that's a bad time, or maybe the Dark Ages or some shit like that. Yeah.
Well, the Four Skulls kind of moniker or what that can go to a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
as long as it's dark.
Right.
As long as it's gotta be dark. Yeah.
But it's like it's not like it's one of them like this name kind of has to go with this kind of material.
Right.
I think right off rip, World of Hurt isn't like something that's knights or medieval. Just
right.
It's a very today album based on today's issues and today's So yeah, I mean you could switch it right up. I could see it now. Four Skulls, dragons and shit. With some dots after shit.
I told Dwayne the World of Hurt album. I was like, that could really be a very good Broadway play. And he just looks at me like, you're fucking sick. I'm like, no, think about it.
Part of him was thinking about it though, like, wow, that could work.
Yeah.
It could actually.
Yeah, in my own screwed up mind. Yeah.
Hey, look at the other shit they're putting on Broadway.
That's true.
Jesus.
True.
So
yeah, the thing is more music, and expand the Mick and Dwayne show. That's
right.
It too. So I got stuff going on. I got 3 little projects going on.
see
Plus,
that.
I have people coming in the studio. Some.
Now, what's up with the what have the rest of the guys been up to? What have they been up to?
Of course, Aaron does acoustic solo stuff. Just for money.
Right.
To live and eat. And, he does that. He goes back and forth to Nashville and plays solo acoustic stuff. Yeah, he's really
awesome.
Yeah, he's more known as a country singer to the people in our area. They don't even know he's a rock singer, and then they hear that. And damn, I didn't know you sing rock. I tell him, I say, you sing rock a hell of a lot better than you sing country.
That's nice.
Yeah. And
I guess you can get away with saying that though.
Yeah.
So.
And the other guys are just living life. But Dwayne's over a couple times a week.
Well, yeah, we see that.
Yeah. So once the Four Skulls, the writing gets a little more serious. It'll have to be 3 or 4 times a week. Bang,
right.
bang, bang. Once you get the ideas, you can't let them lay. You gotta
right. Yeah, you can't just because then it just goes away. It
Yep.
dissipates. It's like
hammer 'em
evaporation. Now, to that, like once you get in there and like. Okay, we got the songs. About how long does it, do you gotta, it seems to me like you got your process pretty honed down. I mean, if you're already recording other bands and stuff, you must, you're always learning, obviously.
Right.
It's always a learning process because there's always something new,
Mm-hmm.
Even if you did know all that shit, they're gonna add more. So,
oh, yeah.
But, what is, usually, how, some bands get in there and they just hammer down and they can, as long as it took them to wait to write a Tool album, when they got in the studio, it took them, a couple weeks. They were done. And then it was, they always go to Maine to master it, which has always been kind of neat.
Yeah.
But they got some of the best mastering. New England has got some mastering companies that just
yeah, that's all they do.
Ass. Yeah. And they just, they're good. And they can really, I've heard some bands that, it's like, okay, this would serve as a a fairly alright demo, and then they go get it mastered, and it's like, is this the same shit you sent me the other day?
Yeah,
and it's now we got it mastered.
I'm not opposed to sending my stuff off to get, if you got
to step aside, if you feel like it's all about the material and wanting the best product out there. So if you don't think that you're going to be able to provide that, obviously, I mean that that's cool that you're not like, well, now I can.
Yeah, no.
Because some people do get kind of.
I have people come in and record, and I've had two say, "Well, I'm gonna get a mastered here." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Here's your mixes. Do with it how you please. It's yours.
Right.
You just paid me to record it.
Yeah.
And mix it, and then there you go.
That's awesome.
Thanks for the money.
One thing you should do. Yeah. Thank you. Please drive through. Or just drive away. Whatever. One thing I think people would like to see. Not so much probably like live streaming, but doing a video documentary of the album.
We've already talked about that. Yeah, once we get the songs wrote, and we will demo every song.
Right.
And say, okay, yeah, this is cool. Or we can rearrange. But once we get everything, and then say, okay, now it's time to record it.
Right.
We'll go back and do everything again. Then we're going to start live streaming some recording.
Right.
And maybe talk before or after the session, and we don't want to give everything away, but
right.
But just kind of talk about the process. Yeah.
And I think, not only is there a lot of things,
because I love that.
I remember, one of the first things that I ever saw that it's like, and I think a lot of bands have emulated, whether they want to say it or not, is Aerosmith, The Making of Pump.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the coolest things I had ever seen at that time, because very few bands had brought you in to their, wow, this sounds horrible, and oh wow, it's Love in an Elevator, I guess, from the beginning, and showing them kind of just, wow, these guys are professionals, huh?
I pulled up
process.
I pulled up clips of World of Hurt, when some of the songs were in their infancy, and the melodies were different. And sometimes the chord changes were different. So I play them for Dwayne, and Dwayne's like,
"What the hell?"
that song. That turned into this.
That's what
happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. It's just not always bang bang. Hey, a song comes. It just all comes to you at once.
Another good Aerosmith to go to that is Pandora's Box.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of unreleased stuff on there. Well, it was cool seeing that. How Joe Perry, remember when they broke up, Joe Perry went off to the Joe Perry Project.
Right.
Well, he had a bunch of stuff that he hadn't, finished or recorded, and a couple tunes that he did record turned into songs off done with mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
And they were totally different songs
Yep.
now. Still the same riffs, totally different tune though.
Yeah.
And it's neat though, especially when you're a fan, you can appreciate where these songs were and what they, So, I think nowadays, though, it's not only because of the abilities are a lot easier and stuff. People really like to see the innards and the makings.
Yeah, even if it's just a little bit. I'm a big Rush head. Anything Rush will throw out a little something.
Just a couple clips.
I just eat it up. Hey, they're in the studio, blah blah blah, or whatever.
Exactly.
Hey, they're out eating dinner.
Right?
Here's 5 minutes of it. I'm like,
oh wow, look at that steak. He even eats steak. Awesome. Look at that. Now, he's one person, I'll tell you what, singer Rush. You want to talk about, he reminds me, while he's on stage, them one-man bands where they got the drum on them,
oh,
and
yeah.
doing all the things?
Yeah.
He's like that
He
on
is.
People don't realize he's playing shit with his feet. He's doing all sorts of stuff that's going on while he's up there singing. It's just...
He's not human.
It's weird.
He's not human.
I know a lot of people were, upset about the O'Neill Peart, and them kind of disbanding and that this being their last hurrah. But
they've done enough.
You think? They have revolutionized music.
Am I sad? They're my number one. Am I sad? Sure.
Of course. But at the same time, you kind of, look, they went out on a good note. They're still one of the biggest bands in the world. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have inspired millions of guitarists, drummers, and bassists alike. I mean, They had
a kind of a resurgence.
Right, yeah.
When Rush and Rio come out on video.
Mm-hmm.
That was.
Yeah, see things that.
And then they started doing videos after every tour, a video of the tour every time,
Mm-hmm.
and they got even bigger after that. So
Mm-hmm.
people like the visual.
And for somebody of Neil Peart's caliber, he's gonna want to go out on top. He's not gonna want to.
That's exactly what he said. You know, he's got tendonitis and stuff in his arms. He can't. It's really hard
You
for
want
him
to go
now.
out still being the best drummer in the world.
You're mid 60s now. You know,
and you
you're
still kick ass.
Yeah.
Even with tendonitis.
Yeah.
And the thing is people might not notice it, but he does.
Oh, yeah.
And he feels it.
Yep.
And you just, you want him loving every minute of what he's doing.
Yeah.
And now, I imagine he'll be able to make even more money with endorsements, and I mean, like he needs any more. I mean, you know, but and with like any type of like biographies or anything, if you wanted to talk, like you said, if you just wanted to talk for 5 minutes on TV, it's gonna get
and
millions
he's
of
big into
views.
writing, so he'll continue to write. You know, my hope for them is that maybe they'll do another album or two and just not tour. I would be okay. I would be okay with that.
Because he could really just take it easy and
Yeah.
do it as he can. But at the same time, it's like,
I've done it for 47 years. I'm done, and that's okay too.
and then you watch him play drums, and it's like there is really no taking it easy with how he drums,
No.
you know. And I mean, he's even, there's even death metal drummers that are like, damn,
Yeah.
you know, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. A lot of notes.
And I mean, and speaking of like, there's the Lennon and Claypool Delirium. They got a pretty cool thing going on right now, and there's a few mashups like that of artists getting together. There's even Danny Carey from Tool has hooked up with some of the guys from Mastodon. And
what was that one? Altitudes and.
They did some Seagull, the Cult of the Seagull, something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys branching out and hooking up with other guys just to do something different.
And I saw Mastodon when I went and seen Perfect Circle and one of Soundgarden's last shows. It was like their third to last show or something like that, and for obvious reasons. And I couldn't believe we were going in the stadium, and I couldn't believe how good they sounded. I mean, obviously there's a lot to be said about the soundman, but if you listen to like a Mastodon album or whatever, there's a lot going on guitar-wise. There's totally different juxtaposed riffs going on. You know what I mean? Look, I know there's a lot of people that are like, I fucking hate Mastodon or whatever. Whatever. But
I like them. They're a good band.
To me, it's like when you listen to and they're another one that, you get a sneak peek of them writing and stuff. There's a lot that's going into every song. And getting to see that, pull that off on stage and what that sounded like, I was really impressed. Perhaps even more impressed than I was, by a Perfect Circle or whatever, who I kind of went there to see. But Soundgarden was phenomenal. They came out and they had the right amount of old style grit where this is live. We're not going to be perfect, but it was perfect, for a live Soundgarden. And it was just, they came out and belted it out. And, I got to say, I usually don't get emotional or anything when, musicians die or whatever for, whatever reason, because it's not like they're my friend. But that one was like, it was like you just saw a friend.
Yeah.
And then you heard that they died in a car accident. Whoa, it kind of hit you like, I just saw you, And now,
Yeah, it was a bummer. It was a bummer to lose him.
Who's out right now that's on Mick Bryan's dial that he's been listening to a lot of?
I still listen mostly to independent stuff still. But
awesome. Well, you said earlier, Signal to Noise.
Yeah, Signal to Noise. Yeah, I was spinning them. I've kind of gotten into Ghost a little bit. Some.
Really?
Yeah. They're quirky. They're weird.
That's the thing.
The look and stuff of them. You think, man, the guy's gonna come out and be, and then he comes out with this,
It's wicked, like glam sounding. It's juxtaposed, awesome metal.
It's weird
with this glam
type
stuff.
But I like it. I don't know.
There is something about it that really connects with a lot of people. I like the Pinnacle album there, Pinnacle to the Pit, freaking that whole album. I forget the name of it. I can't think. And I think I got their discography or whatever on the hard drive or something. But it's that same reason. I think it's that quirkiness and then when you see him, he's juxtaposed to what he sounds like.
Yeah.
You're expecting to see somebody, well, prettier, you know, and he's got like this, you know. When he first came out, the first big thing, and I remember that was another thing I was talking to Eric Pearson, I think Ansel Dope also, when I interviewed him, he had mentioned something about him when they were being on tour. He was like, look at this kid, man. You know, he comes out, he goes, he's got his own thing going on. He goes, it's going to piss a lot of Catholics off. He goes, but that means he's doing something right, I guess, you know.
It's kind of a Marilyn Manson shock factor.
That's just it. And, you know, using all like the Latinish terms to make it seem really religious in tone and everything.
It's all really just weird, you know.
And
I like weird stuff.
And it's just so I think, you know, for me, I don't ever put down any, you know, I will, like, I've said a lot to pop music nowadays and how like country music and pop music nowadays, it's the same song over and over and over again. They're all just replaying the same damn song. In fact, you can even, you know, like some of the stuff I'm talking about.
Them up on
it's like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. You know, like, come on, man.
Those guys will look up, you know, hey, your song needs to be X amount long and this many beats per minute. That is what it should be. This is out of all the pop songs in the last 20 years, this many percentage of them has been this many beats per minute. So people were right around that. It's really silly.
Like, you know, I mentioned Katy Perry because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, fucking Katy Perry, she's a big, you know, but there's videos of her in dive bars with an acoustic. She's just like everybody. She started from nowhere and worked her way up, got discovered. But even though I've never been a Katy Perry fan, obviously, I mean, look at me. Do I look like, you know, you see me at a Katy Perry? Well, maybe, I don't know. I do dress kind of nice.
Depends on what she's wearing.
Yeah, right? Freaking handlebar titty things or something. But,
5 more minutes.
Yeah, well, a few more minutes.
Yeah.
One of the things that she's a perfect example of what the machine can do.
Yeah.
And her first couple albums, obviously she had a lot of hits written. She had a lot of stuff already in the bank. Well, that all gets used up, videos, blah, 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 blah. You listen to Katy Perry's new album, it's... Dude.
Not cool.
They wrote that in a matter of like a week, probably.
Yeah. And
there's like whole songs that go on for 3 minutes, and she says one line over and over and over again.
It's all about repetition.
That's for the dance club.
Yeah.
But and then she actually came out on Saturday Night Live and performed that shit. And it was even awkward to people that were on Saturday Night Live. Imagine that. I mean, you just made Saturday Night Live awkward. How the hell do you do that in today's climate?
It's like, it's like Vanilla Ice. You know, they interviewed him after the fact. He said, I didn't give a shit what they wanted me to do. As much money as they throw to me, I was down with it.
Yeah, exactly. And see, and that's the thing. And I'll appreciate the independent guy or that independent rapper or whatever that sits there with a beat machine and just hammers down, you know, beats and lines, and there's content to his shit. There's not this, okay, like you said, we just need so many minutes, run, you know, it's like everything is so mechanical. Yeah, they'll love it, whatever, it'll pass the sound scan, just put it out there. We'll put it in dance clubs over in the UK, they'll be fine. It's like, it's not about the music at all.
No, it's about the beat. That's all we care
about. And it's well, and then at the end of the day, it's about the money.
Yeah,
you know?
oh yeah.
And it's kind of sad how to watch somebody that was, you know, and I use the word, you know, caliber, you know, she's an artist. She is, I mean, she's talented. Mm-hmm. She's not talented.
Yeah.
To watch her now just be a figure. Right. And there's, you know, it's like, she's unrecognizable compared
Most,
to which.
the masses just want to beat something they can dance to.
And like you said, I mean, look, if they're gonna be giving me money, I'm gonna be working.
Yeah, I'm there.
And I get, and I guess, whatever, but it's that's one thing that I always appreciate, about, independent artists or bigger artists that decide that we're gonna get all the rights to our music, such as bands like Raw that we play and stuff like that, bought all the rights back to them. They own all the rights to their music. And Ben Carroll, phenomenal musician in every matter of the friggin' term. They just went back to being independent because you have that freedom of, I don't need permission to make an album about fear.
Yeah.
I'll just make an album about fear and it's going to be kick-ass. You know what I mean? And it's I don't ever see that happening really to a Four Skulls getting. We're just gonna make an album to make money. I don't see you being in that realm.
It'd have to be a lot of money.
Well, it's like, I don't know, then, Mr. DJ. Depends how much money we're talking. I'll make a dance album. Fuck it. Well, I've heard. I can see people right now. Some poor DJ trying to spin that with a beat on it.
Oh, Aaron's got pet names for every one of our songs.
Really?
Oh yeah. That one is World of Squirt.
World of Squirt? Oh my God, that's a friggin' porn movie. Jesus. Oh Lord.
Now you never hear it again. You'll think.
No. Why did you do that, man? Now I'm gonna have to stop myself from saying it. I have to say this shit on the radio, Mick, and not say the wrong thing. It gets embarrassing at times. I get bummed out when I'm mispronouncing some German or Ukrainian name. Now you got me pronouncing songs that I've known for years. It's World of Squirt.
I won't tell you no more of them, but he's got a pet name for every one of them.
No, let's hear it.
No, that's it.
But all right, this has been awesome. I can't believe.
I'm glad you invited me down. Appreciate it.
We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna get the video and all this debauchery and what all ensued inside out on the internets within minutes, so everybody can see that. But dude,
thanks for having me, man. Appreciate
it. Pleasure, man.
Good seeing you again.
Hell yeah, dude.
Awesome being on the radio.
Yeah, isn't it? It's kind of a thing, man. We kind of do this.
Yeah. You guys got it going on.
We try, man.
Yep.
And you know what? We keep trying to level up, but the one thing that we will never level up at the expense of any band or any artist. That's not how we do things. If it means, if it meant that we had to make a decision, well, you could level up, but it would probably be at the expense of we won't level up then, we'll just wait, because it's not what we're doing, and that's why I get real hot under the collar about people ripping off artists, or people that are just getting into this thinking that they have to, pay some dude from, India or whatever money to get their, to get bots.
I've run into it, run into the guys wanting you to pay. I mean, if you can get some money off people, whatever. You're not getting it from me. I know plenty of people that'll play our shit for free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there is platforms out there that they're professional, legitimate platforms.
Right.
That artists will, but they do a whole bunch of stuff. They don't just play your music. There's a whole, but they set up packages. Mm-hmm. They're putting your music in places that in the mall. I mean, there's a whole thing where I was showing people. I made a video about it. How you can get on this thing where these certain packages or whatever, they'll play your music in malls on other countries and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like you ever wonder when you go shopping.
Hey, maybe some Not Dead Yet elevator music might be kind of cool.
People be hanging on. Why is this song playing in the elevator? All right, man. Everybody out there, try to treat each other at least halfway decent, civil, almost human-like. If you can pull that shit off. Everybody else, I will catch you on the flip. We'll be uploading this full interview in its entirety to not only Mixcloud, but you will be able to also see the video. So I think it would be very fitting that we sign out with just that song. Not dead yet.
Not dead yet. Sounds awesome, man. Appreciate
All right,
it.
everybody. Everybody out there, be good. We'll see you on the other side. Dig it.
We out.
All right,
All
man.
right, cool.
Let's get out of here. Fucking hot, man. The only reason I can't turn that AC on because it's loud.
Loud, yeah.
It'll come across the thing. So.
Did you call and check on Justin last night after the hockey game?
No. Jesus.
I thought about messaging him. I thought, you like him, Todd.
Why? What happened?
Oh, the Blues won.
Oh, no! Oh, jeez, I'm surprised he showed up
Yeah.
without a rope.
Okay.
Yeah, help us out, man.
Yeah, the Blues.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a game.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I didn't either. The Blues. I haven't been into hockey. I never have. We don't have hockey. So, but I've been, where I've been traveling a bunch. I've been traveling with a guy from Southern Illinois, and he's been a Blues fan forever and ever and ever.
Right.
We'd sit in the lobbies of the hotel rooms during the playoffs, so we'd watch hockey. So I got to watching it with him, and he told me the history of, about the Blues, 53 years.